So, what is the importance of going through several iterations when you are studying the questions? For that, we have to look at the forgetting curve. The forgetting curve stipulates that in the first month, from the point at which you had learned that material, you would have forgotten 90% of that content if you have not looked at it again. However, if you go through several iterations of the questions or whatever knowledge it may be, then as you can see, each time that you go through the iteration, your grasp or retention of that knowledge gets higher and higher. So what kind of techniques can we use to alleviate the forgetting curve? So the first one I have over here is energy management, optimal study time. What do I mean by this? I mean, you as an individual have an optimal time that you study. For me, I have indicated it in graph format. I have two slots. The first slot is between 6 a.m. and midday. The second slot is from 5 p.m. to about 10 p.m. During this period between 12 and 5 p.m., I feel pretty much lethargic and my concentration levels go down. So I recognize that the best time or times of day that I retain knowledge or that I learn is either in the morning or at night during these time periods. So you have to identify for yourself what are the most optimal times for you to study. Now, in addition to energy management and ensuring that you're studying at the most optimal time for your brain, I have these 6 other techniques or tips for you to use that I used. The first one is active recall, and I'm going to put this together with spaced practice. Now, active recall is related to you've learned something, let's say on a Monday, and you essentially try to remember it, let's say on a Wednesday or on a Friday. So you're trying to actively recalling that information that you had learned. So you try to recall it on a Wednesday, you try to recall it on a Friday as well. Now, each time you try to pull that information from your brain, because it's such a challenge to do so and you're trying to see how much of it you can remember, the brain remembers it a lot more. So you're sort of activating you're exercising your long-term memory a lot more than your short-term memory. Next up, now why have I said it's related to spaced practice? Well, it's because you have to actively recall this information in a spaced out manner. Why in a spaced out manner? Simply because each time you try to remember information, you have to allow it to simmer in your brain. So, yes. And next up, we have mnemonic techniques. Now, the example that I've written here is more related towards practical flying. This is somewhat of a checklist of yourself, a self-check prior to any flight. So, the I stands for, do I have any illnesses? And if we talk about illnesses, I'm sure we can mention the most predominant one in today's world, of the global pandemic. Have I taken any medication? Does the medication make me feel drowsy? No. Do I feel stressed? Is life stressful today? Should I not fly? Have I drank any alcohol? As you know, the rule is you cannot drink a certain amount, and I can't quite remember. You see, this is active recall that I'm using now. There's a certain amount of alcohol, above a certain amount of alcohol that you cannot drink 8 hours prior to flight. Do I feel fatigued? Am I tired? If I'm fatigued, I'm not going to catch everything that's happening in the cockpit, right? And have I eaten? If you haven't eaten, maybe you will feel tired. Maybe you will feel a lack of concentration. Maybe you'll even feel sick. So you ensure that all these factors are in the green before you go ahead and take a plane and fly off into the sunset. Next one is study before bed. Now, some people say if you study before bed, when you go to bed, it allows that information to simmer in your mind. So when you wake up, it's one of the first things you're thinking about. And it allows your brain to put connections in for things that maybe you did not understand when you were studying at night. right? So you wake up again having that aha moment. Color-coded notes. Personally, I like to color-code my notes. It just allows me to retain, or not retain, to concentrate a lot more on what is needed to know, or to highlight the key points that must be known. So that's just me. If you teach the subject to your fellow students, or classmates, shall I say, then it also helps you to retain, because you also question yourself, oh, have I said this correctly? If not, yes, I should actually say it this way. So teaching helps to retain the information. And of course, last but not least, spaced practice, which we have mentioned, is related to active recall. Okay, so remember I said we're talking about the 6 different steps in doing the reverse engineering approach. We have now done 1 to 4. Now we're going to number 5. Number 5 states mock exams. So for the online bank of questions that you have, it has a feature that allows you to do mock exams. It has a confuser. What that confuser does is that it extracts questions from the entire study bank for that particular subject matter to generate you an exam. However, what I have found, the drawback with these confuser algorithms is that they tend to extract similar or the same questions each and every time. So it means the mock exam is not a true reflection of what is available in the study bank. So the only reason why I've put mock exams here, and I've actually put them near to last, is because it is just something that should assist you to see at what level you are at. Am I passing the exams or not? Simply put. And then we come to number 6. The questions have misalignment. That is, the bank of questions on these websites are not completely the same as those that are found on the SACAA exams themselves. Now, of course, this is not allowed, so but they're pretty much close to them. Now, because they have a misalignment, I have stated here you have to score high in the mock exams on these online bank of questions. So, for example, if you score, let's say, 85% in one of the mock exams, in the real exam itself, you may find yourself actually scoring 75%, which is the pass mark. Or if you score 100%, you might get 95% in the real exam, right? Okay. Okay, so now that we have talked about the strategy that I used to pass the exams, now we have to look at actually the online bank of questions that are available to us, right? Now, just looking here, put this in bold, starting off with this. Okay, so the online study bank or banks, as you can see here, I've put at the top pilot exams and question bank. These, to me, are the strongest online bank of questions available if you're doing PPL all the way up to ATPL. I used these two throughout my entire exams. Or let me put it more accurately, when I found out about them, I started to use these two. I've also heard of Moore's Aviation and Swale's mock exams. I think these are just straightforward questions in a particular sequence, so you can't actually randomize them. Don't quote me on that. I have not used them, so I don't know, but I am aware of them. You also have Fox 1. Fox 1 I did use for my PPL exams. I was actually converting my pilot license because I got the IASA license, so I converted it to the SACAA license. So I had to do a number of exams, so I used Fox 1, which was actually pretty good. Aviation, I Googled it. I don't know it. I've never used it. But if you've used it, let us know in the comments below how it is. And then lastly, we have BGS, Bristol Ground School, Aviation Exam, and CATS Aviation. These 3 are all for UKCA and IASA ATPL exams. Now, the SACA exams does draw some knowledge from the UKCA and IASA exam set, so they are useful in that sense. But you know, there is a misalignment between if you use these ones versus, in my opinion, if you used question bank or pilot exams. Now, if we come to here, Once again, I have listed the 8+2 exams that one has done. And you can see for each of the exam which study bank supplier I had used. So for instruments and electronics, question bank. And as you can see, as we get closer towards when I did my general radio and instrument rating, I used more so pilot exams. And these are the amount of questions that each subject matter had on that particular study bank supplier. So like I said, you have, well, actually I haven't said. So guys, if you've noticed that the light may not be correct, well, I'm recording this throughout the day and, you know, we're losing sunlight here, guys. We're losing sunlight here. Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for watching today's video. If you do enjoy this content, please do hit that subscribe button. We are at 96 subscribers. 4 more. That was a bit of a tongue twister, wasn't it? 4 more away from 100. So that's the target for this month. So like I said, if you enjoy this content, I think about 70% or so of you have not subscribed to this channel. So if you do enjoy this content, please do hit that subscribe button. And thank you very much for watching. Cheers, guys. Bye.